And Young Buzz! Welcome back to the channel where we don't just talk about K-pop. We unpack the stories, the drama, and all the feels behind it. And today, we have to talk about the legal storm surrounding NewJeans and ADOR, because it's officially getting more serious. And the court just put down a ruling that could shake up how we look at artist independence in K-pop. So let's break this down. On May 29th, the Seoul Central District Court dropped a major decision. They accepted ADOR's application for indirect compulsion. Translation? NewJeans is officially banned from doing any entertainment activities without ADOR's consent. That means no ads, no new music, no solo stages, no unofficial group projects, literally nothing unless it goes through ADOR first. And if they do violate that, we're not just talking about a slap on the wrist here. The court says each violation comes with a 1 billion won fine, and if they breach the duty overall, it jumps to 5 billion won. That's not just a warning, that's a massive legal lock on everything NewJeans might want to do independently right now. Now here's where I want to pause and really talk to you all about this, because this ruling isn't just about one group and one company. This is opening up a much bigger question in K-pop. How much control should agencies really have over idols who are clearly old enough, famous enough, and capable enough to make some decisions on their own? Let's be real. NewJeans has been everywhere these past 2 years. CF Queens, music that breaks records, global buzz. They've become a symbol of Gen Z energy in the industry. And now they're basically being told, wait, you can't do anything unless your company lets you. And yes, I get it. Contracts are contracts. ADOR, as the agency, technically has those rights. But let's talk human side for a second. Imagine working your way to the top of the game, and suddenly you're told you can't take any project, release a song, or even perform without approval from the very people you're fighting in court. What really triggered all this, by the way, was the Hong Kong concert. NewJeans apparently performed under the name NJZ, and even dropped a new song while they were at it. The court didn't like that. They saw it as a violation of the previous injunction ruling that was supposed to keep things frozen until the lawsuit was resolved. That's what led to this new indirect compulsion order. Now let me ask you this. Do you think NewJeans was wrong to go ahead with that concert? Or do you think they had a right to keep working, especially under a different name like NJZ? Some fans say it's just another way of asserting their identity and freedom. Others argue that it's crossing a legal boundary that makes things even more complicated. And speaking of complications, the next hearing for this whole lawsuit, the one about the validity of their exclusive contract, is coming up on June 5th. That's just a few days away. That hearing could change everything, or it could drag this fight out even longer. Let me just say, I really feel for the girls. Whether you're a Bunnies fan or not, you can't deny that they're caught in the middle of a brutal power struggle. And unlike some idols who stay silent during legal fights, NewJeans members have clearly been pushing for more autonomy, more say in their careers. But here's the part I really want your opinions on. If a group like NewJeans, with all their fame, all their talent, and all their visibility, still has to fight this hard just to gain a little independence, what does that mean for lesser-known artists? Or trainees? Or rookie groups who don't have the same platform or support? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I think this is a conversation the fandom and the industry needs to have. Should K-pop idols have more freedom to make decisions about their own careers? Or is the agency structure still necessary for consistency, branding, and management? And yes, before anyone says it, this isn't just Hybe versus Min Hee-jin. This court ruling isn't about gossip or media headlines anymore. It's about what the legal system thinks is reasonable control in an entertainment contract. And from what we're seeing, the court is backing ADOR hard right now, but things could still turn around. That June 5th hearing? Depending on how the judges interpret the contract, NewJeans could win more freedom or lose even more control. Either way, we're witnessing one of the biggest contract battles in modern K-pop history. Now let's talk a little about that June 5th hearing, and why it could be a game changer. This isn't just any court appearance. It's the second round in the ongoing lawsuit about whether the exclusive contract between NewJeans and ADOR is even valid. That's the core of everything. If the court eventually rules that the contract is invalid or flawed in some way, then NewJeans could be free to operate more independently, or maybe even with a new agency. But if the court sides with ADOR again, this legal control might get even tighter. And that's where the emotional layer comes in. I don't think any of us really imagined NewJeans, one of the fastest rising girl groups in K-pop, being stuck in this kind of tug of war. It's honestly heartbreaking to watch. These are girls who trained, debuted, and blew up almost overnight. And now, they're caught in a maze of legal documents, restrictions, and public tension. And while they've still been performing, releasing music, and showing up for fans in their own way, like that Hong Kong concert, it's clear that they're walking a legal tightrope. Every move has consequences now. Every stage, every collaboration, every possible comeback has to be considered through a legal lens. It's not just exhausting, it's unfair. I know fans are torn. Some people think they should lay low until the legal stuff is resolved. Others think they need to keep fighting for their creative freedom, even if that means taking risks. And I totally get both sides. But personally, I think what's sad is that we've reached a point where art, what they love doing, what fans love watching, is being suffocated by lawsuits. Remember when we used to just wait excitedly for NewJeans' next track to drop? Their sound was fresh, their style was exciting, and their stage presence felt effortless. Now, instead of wondering what kind of music they'll put out next, we're wondering what kind of court documents are being filed next. Honestly, I feel like this entire legal mess is also revealing just how outdated some of the K-pop agency practices still are. We've talked about slave contracts in the past. We've seen idols sue over unfair treatment, profit distribution, or mental health concerns. And still, here we are in 2025 with one of the biggest fourth-gen groups facing the exact same struggles. This isn't just about ADOR or HYBE or NewJeans, it's about how the industry needs to evolve. Because the truth is, idols today are not just performers. They're brands, they're creators, they're leaders. And when you treat them like kids who need to ask permission for every step, you're just holding the industry back. That's why I think this case could set a precedent. If the court ends up siding with NewJeans at any point, whether now or in future hearings, it could open the door for other idols to start questioning the limits of their contracts. It could shift the balance of power just a little more towards the artists. But again, we have to wait and see. And while we're waiting, I just want to take a second to recognize how strong these girls have been. They haven't made dramatic public statements. They haven't dragged things through the media. They've just continued to do what they can for the fans, even with all the pressure and limitations surrounding them. I'm really curious how this will affect their comeback schedule, though. Will promotions get paused? Will collaborations be canceled? Will NJZ become a real alternate identity for them moving forward? There are so many questions and very few clear answers right now. But one thing's for sure, NewJeans deserves more than to be stuck in limbo, and I'm throwing this one out to you, bunnies and K-pop fans in general. If you were in NewJeans' position, what would you do? Would you keep pushing for independence, even if it means more legal risks? Or would you try to work things out quietly behind the scenes to protect the group's long-term stability? Also, do you think this court decision was fair? Do you think the $1 billion fine per violation is too harsh or necessary to uphold contracts? Let me know your honest thoughts. Because this isn't just entertainment gossip, it's the business side of K-pop, and it affects every artist we love. All right, Buzz fam, that wraps up our deep dive into this legal drama. If you made it this far, you already know you're the real MVPs. Let's keep this conversation going in the comments. I'll be reading and replying as always. And if anything big drops after the June 5th hearing, you know I'll be back with another update. Until then, keep supporting your faves, stay kind in the comments, and remember, K-pop is more than just music, it's a community. This has been Anyong Buzz, signing off for now. See you in the next one.